welcome back to the Healing Wonders podcast. Long time no see. We've had some technical difficulties, but we're back and better than ever.
Oh, hi-ho, planet Earth, here we are. Just a little hiccup, but we're back in it with a knife and a fork. Nothing's going to keep us down, I tell you. We are in it to win it. And here I am with Rosie, my little blue diamond. And we're getting ready to speak up some truth, like Cat Williams style. Truth Slayer! Like, share, and subscribe, everybody. We're here. All right.
So today, we're going to be talking about sprayed cannabis and not sprayed cannabis. So, I don't know much about the sprayed cannabis, but I do know about what it does to your body. So, I'm going to let Venus start off and telling us what sprayed cannabis even is and why it's bad.
Okay, planet Earth. Cannabis community. Here is some truth-slaying information. You don't need to spray your weed at all. At all. If anything, when you have your clones and they're really small like this, you can spray them with a little bit of warm water. But Mother Gaia, planet Earth, has provided us with everything we need to grow the most badass cannabis without having to spray it with anything but just a little bit of warm water occasionally. And so, check out the hook on this, community. Have you guys ever watched National Geographic or a nature show? And with animals, there are some animals on this planet that have a lifespan that's short because other animals, it's nature to eat those other animals. It happens like with rabbits. You know, coyotes eat rabbits and that's their meal. It happens with fish where salmon swim up the river and they lay their eggs and then they pass and then that's the bear's meal. Okay, so the same thing that happens with plant life and insect life. It's sort of a marriage of the two. And there are insects that eat cannabis plants. So you don't really need to spray your weed. If you've been growing for less than 20 years, then you need to do your research. But if you're growing for 20 years or more, then you already know this information. And you can go out and get these bugs that are preventative to keep you from getting bugs on your plants. And there's also some, I want to say it's a type of fungus that eats bad fungus in the soil of your plants. So at the most, for Healing Wonders cannabis, you might break open a bud and you'll see a dead bug in there at the very, very most. But it will not have been sprayed with all kinds of poison. And the problem with sprayed weed is you don't know what they're spraying it. And if you're an investor, if you're a lawmaker, if you're a buyer, and you happen to go to a farmer's ranch and you see a bottle with a skull and a crossbones on it, take the first mule fucking smoking out of there, community. I mean, run for your life, because that poisonous stuff in the long run is going to give you potentially cancer, potentially black lung, and then what if you have a disease already and any one of those poisonous chemicals have a bad reaction with what your disease is already, and then your disease could become agitated, inflamed, flared up, and then you're not knowing why, and all the whole time it's just been because you're smoking sprayed weed that's been sprayed with poison, then it's been sprayed to look sugary, then it's been sprayed again to smell real strong. And so from the time you plant to the time you harvest, there could be up to 5 different kinds of spray on there. Then it looks beautiful, pristine, very mainstream and commercial, so you think you're scoring, and you're wondering why you're getting a headache after you're smoking half a joint. What I want you guys to understand and think about, cannabis community, lawmaker, investor, cultivator, and buyer, is check out the hook on this. Cannabis is the only thing that when you're ready to ingest it, you can't wash it off and then smoke it. But anything else that's sprayed, that's ingestible, vegetables, fruit, fucking trees, you can even wash meat off, you can wash poultry off. Anything that's sprayed, you have the liberty to wash it off, except for the cannabis plant, because it's impossible to smoke a wet cannabis joint or a blunt or whatever it is that you're smoking. So really and truly, the truth is, you don't ever really need to spray your weed with anything if you know what you're doing. If you're a good cultivator, you can co-create with the universe and use insects to eat any bug, fungus problem that you have on your cannabis plant, and then you're producing a pure, clean product that's ingestible, that you don't have to worry about, am I going to have cancer in 3 years because I bought this beautiful mainstream weed that's badass. I think the most popular going around now is indoor weed, and they want it to look super like it's rolled in powdered sugar. And think about it, if it is rolled in powdered sugar and it is sprayed, they actually take that keef and they bleach it. So how are they bleaching it? You know, I don't know. The word bleach comes to mind to me. You know?
Yeah.
So then it's bleached, it's rolled in that, then it's sprayed with God knows what, then it's sprayed to make it smell good, and then it's sprayed again to make it crystally. So you could be smoking up to 5 different kinds of poison and not even know it. And I'm just saying, come on, wake up. It's mainly the black community that really isn't understanding. Just because it looks beautiful doesn't mean it is beautiful. And it might be selling today, but are you going to be around to sell to the same customers? Or if you're smoking with those customers, is everybody going to fall out being sick as fuck? I mean, you know, the black community's kind of had it really, really hard. And lots of black people are in jail for crimes that they weren't even violent. They were just cannabis-related crimes. And what better way for the infrastructure to get back at you, but with your own weakness, and let you buy and smoke and sell contaminated weed? Come on, wake up. Sometimes sun-kissed weed that's pure, it doesn't look popular, it doesn't look mainstream, but it's pure and it'll get you higher than anything else that you're buying out there that's been sprayed. And it'll be better for you. And hear what? It might even be healing. But you guys got to stop drinking the Kool-Aid and thinking mainstream sprayed, rolled, dipped, dyed weed is the way to go. You might be making money today, but you know what? You're going to be broke tomorrow after your clientele starts falling off.
Yeah, I love that you're so mindful of that, because I would go to the dispensary. I didn't know I was buying sprayed with cannabis. So I was getting so much flare-ups with my hydronitis suppurativa, and I thought I changed the whole way how I was eating. I backed off of stress, like anything that would stress me out, but I was still getting the flare-ups. And they would tell me, it's because you smoke cannabis, because you smoke cannabis. And to me, I didn't understand how an herb that was put on this earth to heal was making my body sick. I refused to believe that. So that's when I got into Healing Wonders. I started hanging around more with Venus. She started teaching me about more of these, and now I only smoke Healing Wonders products. So nothing sprayed, everything's organic, no flare-ups. I have no flare-ups whatsoever.
Right.
And I once did I stop smoking cannabis. I stopped smoking cannabis when I got my surgeries and I just couldn't cough. That was the only tolerance break I took, and that was what? 3 weeks to 4 weeks, maybe? Like, maybe the 4 weeks?
Yeah, one good
But that
month.
was the biggest tolerance break I took. But that's when I started just smoking Healing Wonders. I had took all of that other stuff out of my system. I detoxed my body.
Yeah.
And I stopped getting flare-ups, you guys. And I still smoke on my little herb every single day. And it helps me. And when I have a flare-up now, when, say, I'm under stress or something and I do get a flare-up, I do smoke a joint. I already have my little routine that I do, and I get rid of them. Like, it goes away. It's not like it used to be that back then I would literally end up in UCSF admitted for like a week.
Yeah. Those
now,
were the days.
Yeah.
And those are days long gone now.
Yes,
that you're smoking
honey.
just organic, fresh,
Yes.
clean weed that hasn't been sprayed. It doesn't look commercial. It looks like regular, organic, sun-kissed greenhouse weed.
Yeah, well, you would see back in the days, like...
Right, exactly. And then really, sometimes the weed is so good and pure, you only need like 2 or 3 hits and you're good for a minute. You can set that bad boy down.
Yes, because I used to be like, oh, I have this high tolerance, this and that, like... I used to think, because I used to get like these infusions because of my skin condition, and it was a strong infusion, so I thought my body was just under all these strong medications, that my tolerance was up here. No, honey, I would just smoking like sprayed cannabis.
Sprayed weed, and then other weed too, sorry to cut you, is the system is set up where you grow, you hurry up and harvest, and you sell the weed within 10 days after it's dry, which is the exact opposite of how cannabis works and how it's grown. And so a lot of people out there, when it comes to spraying, they're only growing the cannabis half term or 3/4 of the term, and they're not growing it until it's ready to pick. But then they're spraying some medication on it or poison on it to make the hairs look brown and to make it look done. So then they get another run in and a whole nother harvest in, but their weed is only grown to half of its potency or its weight that they could probably get, because they're getting so greedy they want to hurry up and get a whole nother 3-cycle run in if you're growing indoor weed, or if you're growing greenhouse light depot weed or mixed light weed. Not so much for outdoor weed, but the system has it completely shifted around that the healthiest weed for you is considered the lowest value. So clearly, lawmaker, you weren't smoking any weed before you made these laws. Holy cow.
Yeah, because to me, honestly, that doesn't make sense. How is something that's healthier for your body gonna be less? It's like, say you go to a co-op and you go to a normal grocery store, right?
Right.
What's gonna be more expensive? The co-op.
The co-op.
Everything's organic.
Yep.
And at the grocery store, you get all your commercial stuff. So it's like that. It doesn't make sense. So it's really turned into all about the dollar sign instead of the true purpose of the plant, the true purpose of what it does, healing, bringing a community together in just good vibes, and where everyone's on the same vibe.
And then growing it till it's time to pick it, for the love of God. Don't grow it when it's halfway ready and you think, okay, let's just pull it now. It's going to be full of chlorophyll, it won't get you as high, and it's going to take a whole joint, if not 2, to get you as stoned as if you just pulled back, you didn't spray it at all, you grew it to its full time to pick it, and then you cured it properly.
Yeah.
And that means cure it. Doesn't mean dry it and sell it. It means cure it, which is something that I would like to introduce a new category to planet Earth, and that is the marketing and selling of top shelf cannabis. And top shelf cannabis should be sold for a much, much higher price than mainstream cannabis. And it's just with the guarantee that the time, the attention, and the care is equally compensated for when the farmer goes to market their top shelf weed. There's no way that you can put the kind of love, time, care, and attention and money into buying the bugs and caring for your grow like you do, and then turn around and sell your weed for $300 and $500 a pound. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, especially when it costs that much just to produce it, because soil's more expensive, food is more expensive, labor is more expensive, everything's more expensive, but the price of weed is going down. And then the better weed is going for a cheaper price than the poison weed. So come on, let's turn this thing around, community. Come on, planet Earth. We're out here in Cali, and we have the Emerald Triangle that is most famous on planet Earth for the best cannabis in the world. And we're out here floundering around, fussing with hemp folks and price gouging and how much money can we make. Come on, there's a way that we all can get together. You can't tell me that there's not one lawmaker out there and there's not one regulator out there that doesn't have a spiritual side, that doesn't understand cannabis is a niche thing. You need to connect your spirit with growing. And then if you want to be successful at it, you can't send a scout to go get the weed. You need to get to know your farmer. And you need to know your farmer's habits and what your farmer's mindset is and what your farmer's energy is. And do you even want to invest in a farmer who just doesn't give a flying fuck and they just want the pile of money or the deposit in the bank and keep it moving? That is a mainstream cultivator. But a farmer who is proud of what they produce and share as their offerings back to the universe and their customer cares. He's not going to spray his weed. She's not going to spray her weed. And we're definitely not going to grow it till it's only halfway finished and harvest it because we're thirsty for the money. Don't get me wrong, the struggle is real. But if you're connected to the universe and you're in alignment with your passion, your desires, then something will be manifested for you to compensate you for all your hard work, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it too. Yeah. So a new category. So
yeah,
when we went to the Emerald, you guys, we didn't even tell you guys.
Oh my goodness!
We did not tell you guys. We are so proud to announce we came in second place in the greenhouse.
Yeah,
category.
and the sun-kissed mixed light greenhouse category, Healing Wonders came in second place at the Emerald Cup, which is the best of the best of the best compete. So I wanted to say, I forgot that I'm only as good as my team. And while I own Healing Wonders, without my team, I'm not Healing Wonders. And I wanted to give a special shout out to Cindy Hendricks. She owns XRD Consulting, and she is just a straight up fucking badass. She's been with me from the onset of all of this permit application bullshit. How deep is your well? What's the longitude and the latitude? And all these invasive, encroaching, offensive questions that you have to go through. And years, I feel like I've been with her since like, I don't know, 2018 or 17. And she's just walked by my side, step by step by step by step. I honor you, Cindy Hendricks, XRD Consulting. Healing Wonders wouldn't be what it is without you. You keep it together. You hold it all together with all the permits and ranches and stuff. And I want to just say thank you for your service and for being a team member and for really helping me out and remaining my administrator. No matter where you are on planet Earth, you got my back, and I'm saying to you, I'm dedicated to you, and I'm gonna stick, girl. I'm sure gonna stick to you. Many thanks. We won the Emerald Cup. We came in second place. I just couldn't be more excited. Like I said, I just wanted to thank my team. I think on another podcast, I'm going to introduce you to the team, but it's getting everybody together at the same time. A couple of my team members are also mothers, and so they can't always be available. That's why the podcast is just mainly going to be Rosie and I, but at some stage soon, you'll be able to meet the team. And we're all minorities, and we're all, most of us, just women. And so it's empowering. I feel like we're coming into a new era where maybe women in cannabis are going to be getting a little bit more recognition, because maybe we really are as intelligent as most men or more when it comes to connecting with Mother Gaia, listening to the plant, and growing and nurturing along with growing the plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I did when this was my first year ever going to the Emerald Cup? I've always wanted to go, since I started smoking cannabis, I've always wanted to go to the Emerald Cup. And once I turned 21, COVID happened and I wasn't able to go. So this is the first year I ever go, and what an experience. I went, entered, and we won. So it was a badass experience, you guys. I'm so honored I got to experience that. But one thing I did not notice, they did not have a top shelf category. They had a bunch of categories of everything, but top shelf was a category they did not have.
Yeah, and so I feel like there should be a new category that Healing Wonders is introducing to the planet Earth, to the investor, to the lawmaker, to the regulator, you know, and to anybody coming up with creative, divine ideas within themselves about how to market cannabis and really understand its value, and then appreciate that the farmers really put their heart and soul and spirit into this weed. And that category should be reciprocity for all. There's enough product and money out there on planet for everybody to eat, for everybody to feel compensated. So not really taking care of the farmer and lowballing with these really low prices when you're a small farmer. I mean, I just want to remind everybody in planet Earth, if it wasn't for the small farmer in the Emerald Triangle that's been doing it for 30 years, there wouldn't be a reputation of an Emerald Triangle having the best weed in the world. So maybe if we paid a little bit of Amish attention, pulled back, and really find out from the universe how that we can cohabitate together somehow and have a system that offers reciprocity and a system that offers incentives not to spray your weed, not to pull your weed early. You know what I mean? Not to blow off your farmer and then not pay your farmer and then get caught on the web bragging about it, and that's how you came up. Come on, man. That doesn't have anything to do with cannabis. That has nothing to do. Cannabis has nothing to do with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I saw it on the internet.
I've noticed that, like, all these, there was certain farmers that there were small farms. Every single one of them talked about how they went through it, and every single one of them pointed out the team members that stuck with them through this whole process. And to me, I was just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, a lot of people went through this year, not just like our farm went through it. It was just crazy to see how many people went through the same thing we did.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. The struggle was absolutely real. And some of the people, only the first place winners at the Emerald Triangle got like a little plaque. And I'll repeat what she was saying. When everybody was up there sort of saying thank you for being voted and being number one, it was with compassion and it was with sincerity and most of all humility. And then some of them on the very crest of tears, explaining that the struggle was real and they can't believe they even made it this far. And I just want to reiterate that. But I'm coming around the corner, so is all the other small farmers, because there are some, I believe, laws that are in play by the end of this month could really afford a small farmer to go to a farmer's market and have the public come and buy your product retail. And that'll put us back on our feet because, well, we created the reputation. Why can't we not now have reciprocity within the industry?
That would be one of the best things to do, like a cannabis farmers market, because that's where people who genuinely care about their health and genuinely want to want to know what they're smoking and what they're consuming, putting in their bodies. Well, so say you would go to a farmer's market. Say someone like me that I have an autoimmune disease. I would want to get something that's 100% organic, that is clean, that I know it's not going to make me sick. Say a veteran is not going to want to smoke something that's going to make him sick or make him feel like a certain type of way when they're already experiencing all these symptoms and they're using this herb to like relieve a little bit of that, but then they're smoking this sprayed poisoned cannabis, and it's making everything worse. And it's making people to believe that cannabis is such a bad thing, that it's not here to do what it's supposed to do. But in reality, you just have to see what you're smoking. You have to do your research. And you have to look for the people who truly have the love for the plant, not just for the dollar sign. Because a lot of people just they want to see the dollar sign. They don't have the actual love for the cannabis. They're not doing it with the passion. They're not doing it like
with their heart and soul and co-creating.
They're just doing it like, oh, this is my money. No, and like people who genuinely care about it, like how when I would see you talking to it like they're your babies, they're your like.
That's right. Here's Her Majesty.
Yeah.
And this is the Queen of Egypt. I have little names for them. It's fun, absolute fun, and it connects. And I think energy feels other energy, and the vibration is higher, and it's just a beautiful feeling to see it from the time it's a seed all the way until the time.
Yeah, it's so cool because I would always see
harvest it.
I would always see you talking to them, and that. So I started doing it, because she always inspires me. So I started doing it, and it was crazy to start. This is where my gratitude journey kind of started.
Yes.
Because I started connecting more with the universe, and the plants would respond. Like, it was kind of crazy. I would get tripped out. Like, what the heck? Like, they would move.
They vibrate, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when it's not windy, you could still see them and feel them they're responding to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing
thing. They would be moving, so that's where I would just like, wow, like, these are literally like little human beings. The difference is they can't talk. They can't walk around like we can.
Right. It's just a live energy that responds to your energy.
Yeah.
And that's the big misconception about cannabis. A lot of people who don't have anything to do with smoking it, and they're just an investor, or they just want to see if they can get in and what piece do they make, can they make out of it. It's really about when you get into it, what is it do I need to look inside myself and see, and how can I get a healing through this experience and offer the best thing that I can to others. And so really it's about, shucks, should my journey shift when I make this investment? And is it the best thing for me? And why am I getting into it? For the healing part of it, or because it's a cash cow? Then take a double take. Then check out a couple of articles about what's happening in the cannabis industry, and it might make you want to come up with a new vision, and that is a category that's not out there, and that's the top shelf category. And I mean completely change the game around. Get whatever farmers there are and give them incentive that they would get X no matter, how many pounds they produced on their small farm. And you could be guaranteed from this group of small farmers that the weed was never going to be sprayed. It was never going to be pulled early. It was never going to be quick dried and sold, that you're always going to get a top shelf, clean, properly cured, properly grown product. And if you can afford it, then well and good. But I also think there should be some sort of allowance for the militaries as well. You know what I mean? Help them out a little bit. But it has to be reciprocity for the farmer as well. It can't just be the retailer, the investor make the money. It's got to be everybody is in balance and everybody's happy. And that's the big secret to growing cannabis in this business successfully, is to have the intention of everybody having a win-win-win.
Having genuine love for it. That's what I love about our team, is that everyone on our team has genuine love for the plant.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just changes the quality of the product 100%. Then if you know how to cure it, not just quick dry it and sell it, then it's a top shelf category plant that, you have to pay a top shelf price for. But look, they do that with steak and hamburger. They do that with tequila And they do that with wine. They do that with so many other commodities here where there's a mainstream variety and then there's a top shelf variety. And I believe small farmers in the Emerald Triangle who have been growing for 20 years or more, I've been growing for 30 years, should definitely sort of stand up and speak up truth. And so that's what I'm trying to do here is to speak up what the real truth is. You don't need to spray your weed. And, you know, the system forgot to develop a top shelf category so farmers could get, so consumers who can afford it, and some who can if you're military, I think, can have the best of the best and not worry about getting black lung or sick or have an allergic reaction to the medication they're already taking. And then weed was a horrible experience for them when they were told by a friend or a doctor, hey man, why don't you try cannabis? And then they do, and it's poisoned weed. Then the experience is terrible when really the experience was meant to be healing if you had the right stuff.
Because I feel like the industry was flooded with people like wanting to jump on the wagon. So it just got so over like populated that it just became about the dollar sign, and they jumped over that, like making it a category. And
I feel like you're trying to say they never even had a system like that before because whoever designed the infrastructure just copied what they do with crab, or copied what they do with strawberries, or copied what they do with broccoli or grapes. And that cannabis is a niche thing. And if you can't connect spiritually with the plant and the universe, I don't think you're going to be very successful. I think there's going to be one snag after another after another. But if you have someone on your team that has a sense of spirituality and a passion for growing, and they could spread that energy throughout the team, then it's a win-win team.
because spirituality takes a role on everything if you think about it. It is the energy that's making everything go around in this world.
Right, exactly.
And it's what a lot of people don't realize it.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of political shit going on because this is like an election year. And so it feels like, you know, one person is more about balance and, you know, getting back to helping folks out. And the other guy's more about, you know, fussing and fighting and threatening and stuff like that. So I feel like we're kind of with cannabis, we're also at a turning point. We have time and a chance because it's not federally legal to make California the picture poster state for cannabis instead of the laughing stock, especially since we are housed and home of the Emerald Triangle. You know what I mean? Like, come on, lawmakers, let's turn this thing around, man. And let's, you know, commission some people with a little bit of experience in what they're doing, a little bit of experience and science and spirituality and how that gels, and, you know, really make sure that because cannabis is different than anything else, that people creating it are allowed reciprocity and should be as honored as any judge, doctor, or lawyer, because it does take an expertise in being in alignment with yourself and with the universe, growing the best quality. But I do want to say, look at novel writer, basketball player, rapper, even doctor or lawyer. If you enjoy cannabis at all anywhere on planet Earth, maybe consider purchasing top shelf and looking and finding top shelf weed that's clean and pure and divinely blessed, that's not sprayed or rolled in bleached keef. So you can really get an amazing healing and effect that you're looking for.
Exactly. So if you're looking for that and you don't know where to look, Healing Wonders is your place to go. Just letting you know.
Yeah, and then, hey, we won the Emerald Cup, so we might be know what we're doing, and we might be knowing what we're talking about. We're humbled and blessed to have been able to be recognized by all of our peers. The competition was stiff there. There was a lot of people competing, and luckily I only entered one strain, but there was a lot of farms that entered multiple strains that didn't even place. So I'm just so humbled that I and my team and Healing Wonders was just able to come in second place. It feels like a miracle. It feels like validation that is well deserved and a long time coming.
Yes. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to wrap it up here. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Tune in every Thursday at 8 o'clock. We hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day full of love and light and everything bright. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, community! Don't smoke sprayed weed.